Hello everyone. I promised to make this video for anyone who is interested in studying abroad, either in the United States of America, in the United Kingdom, or in China. Now, some of the things I'll be saying here might not apply directly to you, but from where I'm coming, that is my country, Nigeria, there are certain things that you need to know. And pardon me, please, for doing this video without any aesthetics. I mean, there's no sound, there's no flashy anything. I don't know how to do all this video editing, but straight to the point. Scholarships are free, yes, they are free, but you have to be prepared. So when I mean prepared, I mean financially to be able to travel, for instance. Like if you're not staying in Abuja or in Lagos, that is some of those big cities in Nigeria, then you will have to get ready because at any time you'll be called upon to go for either an interview or a documentation process or just something that is related to, or even a test, just before you get the awarded the scholarship. So you should have a little money in your pocket. But the first thing that you need to do before you apply for a scholarship is to check the eligibility. So there are websites that you can go, for instance, Scholars for Dev, that is scholars, and then the number four, and then DEV, that is developing nations or developing countries. So you can go to that site, you can go to scholarshippositions.com, you can go to any other site that you can access uh, to gain information about scholarships. So you need to check the eligibility. Now there is a very interesting thing here. I mean, interesting cue for you or a clue for you. You can go ahead and apply. In fact, my piece of advice is whichever scholarship that you get or that you see online, just go ahead and apply if the eligibility country, um, if your country is in the eligibility list, just go ahead and apply. Do not care about whether you have a first class, a second class, or even a third class. Just go ahead and apply. Now, but while you apply, you should make sure that you have certain things that are very, very important. So, letters of recommendation from uh, eligible people. For instance, an employer, one employer is always good, and then two academic uh, referees, right? So you should have at least three because sometimes they disappoint, right? And then there are some little things that we kind of do with regards to that, but I'm not going to mention it here. If you want to know, you can just send me a message, and I will, or just comment, and I'll find you and tell you some of those things. Now, you should have what is that person called? A referee, at least three referees. Now, you should make sure that you've discussed with them about recommending you, and you should have done it like some months before the deadline of your application. Number one thing I said is apply. Just apply. Number two, get recommendations. Number three, get your transcripts ready. Transcripts are very important. That's how they evaluate your academic standing. Even though you have a 2-1, a first class, or 2-2, or third class, Just get that transcript. Number three thing that is very, very important is your statement of purpose. So you are applying to do something. What do you have? What are you bringing to the table? Is it what the professor wants you to be doing? So for instance, in America, you you first of all contact a professor, and that professor should make sure that that professor is doing something related to what you have done or you want to do. So if you write a statement of purpose that doesn't even talk about that, then you are likely not getting in. Now, let me start with the United States. I've mentioned three solid things that you need: recommendations, transcripts, and your statement of purpose. So these are three very important things that you need in your application. That's during the process of your application. Now, in America, you have to contact the professor, even though sometimes they don't respond to you. Don't worry, just contact them and tell them what you want to do. I mean, this is for sorry, this video is for graduate applicants, people who have undergraduate, who have bachelor's degree or undergraduate studies. Now, you have to you should contact the professor. Sometimes they reply you very positively, sometimes negatively, sometimes they don't bother, don't worry, just apply. Now if you notice, I've always said just apply, right? Now, once you've done that, you've applied. Now in America, you have to pay application fees. In the United Kingdom, most schools, you don't need to pay application fees. But in America, you will pay application fees. Sometimes they're $50, sometimes they're $75, sometimes they're even up to $100. Now, this brings me to another thing. After you've contacted your professor, they've replied or not, you've applied. Now, there are certain things that you will also need to know. I'm so sorry, I just skipped that. Um, there's something that they call TOEFL. TOEFL in the United States. In UK, it is IELTS, and in China, for the Chinese scholarship board, I think you need a letter of English proficiency from your school, telling them that you have been instructed in English language. That's if the school you're applying is going to be taught, your program is going to be taught in English. Now, sometimes even in America and UK, they say get a letter of proficiency or your WAEC or your NACO, that's your O level certificate showing that you passed English and all of that. But just that's why I said it's not really very important. I didn't mention it as very important, but it's a necessary document, especially if you're applying to big schools, right? So you should have it. There's another one called GRE. Most of the time, doctoral students are those people that take it, and for those in the engineering and other aspects, they take the GMAT, the GMAT, GMAT, GMAT. Yeah. So now, after you've had some of these documents, then the next thing you need to do is to keep applying. Keep applying. That means you don't just apply to one school, you should apply to at least 5 schools. So it's not easy because you have to pay like $75 always. That's why the first thing I said is scholarships, yes, they're free sometimes, but you have to get ready. So you have to keep apply like 5 schools. At a point, I applied almost 10. Yeah. In fact, I can't count the number of scholarship applications I've applied to. So now, um, in America, that's United States now, they have GA or TA or RA, that is either graduate assistantship or teaching assistantship or research assistantship or whatever. That is your scholarship. So you're going to be working on the campus. You're going to be helping a professor to either teach or to grade or to do whatever the professor wants you to do. So it's as if you are employed. In Nigeria, we call them, yeah, GAs too, right? So that is what you're going to be doing for the period of your stay for the period of your studies, and you have to maintain a certain grade point average. That depends on the school that you are in. But these positions are available most of the time. You just go to the school website, check if they have graduate assistantship funding or programs for you before you apply. So most of the good schools here have that program. Okay, so you get admitted into the school as a student and also as uh, a graduate assistant or a teaching assistant or however they call it in the school. Sometimes you need to apply it separately. That is, for that graduate assistantship position, it's like you're applying for a job, you have to do it separately. Meanwhile, you've also applied for the for admission, right? So basically, this is what you need to know for American schools. Now, for UK schools, give full scholarships most of the time to only first class students. So if you apply, I mean, you can go ahead and apply, but don't be sure that you're going to get it, or don't hope, because most of the time their positions are also just for a few people. It's just like one, the whole university. They can just take one person and give a full scholarship, and they they take merit very very seriously. Now, um, now the UK schools, like I said, sometimes they don't request uh, or they don't require you to pay application fees, right? But they don't give you full scholarships. Most of the time, they give you $2,000, $5,000 out of pounds out of 18,000, right? So if you want to go to UK schools, I mean, just get prepared to pay money, your tuition and other things, except you have that first class and you have a very strong statement of purpose. Now, Chinese schools, you have to demonstrate a lot of enthusiasm to go to China in your statement of purpose, how you want to learn their language, and also your intelligence, especially for those of you in the sciences. All right. So it's pretty simple for the Chinese CSA. I don't know about now, but at the time I was applying, they, they usually require you to mail your documents, usually also notarized. So you have to go to the Department of Education, Ministry of Education, okay? For instance, if you are Nigerian, you go there, they change whatever they want to change there, uh, and then so notarization is like, um, confirming your results and then putting in in Chinese or in English, and all of those things, right? And then you have to mail it. So most of the time you have to mail it quickly because it takes quite long to get to China. Okay, so that also requires money. Okay, so these are some of the things that you need to know for now. Okay, when you want to apply for scholarships in either US, UK, or China. Now, I've tried to find a lot of things that people normally ask me, and I think I've just answered some of them. And there are other things that you might want to ask me. Okay. Now, if you want to ask me, I think it's going to give more direction to what I'm going to make the next time or the next video I'm going to make, or um, the answer I'm going to give you privately. Okay. So I hope that this information was helpful to you, and please feel free to ask me any question, any questions um, about your scholarship application. But before I go, I just want you to know something. Don't fear the name of the scholarship. Also, universities give scholarships in US. Okay, so for instance, the Commonwealth Scholarship in UK. Okay, there's a scholarship called the Commonwealth. There's another one that is called the Commonwealth with Shared Scholarship. There's the Chevening Scholarship. In America, there's the Fulbright Scholarship, the Gates Foundation Scholarship, the Rhodes Scholarship. There are so many kinds of scholarships, right? Don't fear the names. They look very big. They're big. Of course, they are big, but like I said, just apply, keep applying. You will gain experience. You will gain all the knowledge that you need to know about those scholarships. When you go for interviews, you will now understand, okay, this is where I messed up the first time, but I can get it the second time, and I believe also that for me, I don't know, I'm so sorry to say this, but for me, I believe that the constant factor is always God. If He wants you to get there, He will push you there. For me, I believe He did it for me. So thank you so much. And just watch out for the next videos I'll be making, for the other videos I'll be making. Thank you.